Okay. We are live. Welcome everyone to this May community call. So we are discussing everything MetaMask ecosystem, dApps developer related, hackathon winner related. We're super excited. Alejandro is hosting with me. Alejandro, it's a pleasure again this month to host this session with you. You want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yes, for sure. Super excited for this session. This is Alejandro. I work for MetaMask for over 2 years now, and yes, I do DevRel engineer. I also am also a software engineer, so I've been working on some kind of cool tools for you developers that are listening to this. So yeah, super excited about this today.
Nice.
How are
Yeah,
you?
Alejandro. Oh, good. I'm very excited. Alejandro is very humble. He's also been running a lot of kind of like, SDK related activation. I think one of our main agenda item today is also to hear one of the winners present.
Yes.
I think was a strong, very strong kind of like a hackathon. It was a virtual hackathon that we ran called MetaMask Dev Cook-Off on SDK and strong kind of like teams. We were very impressed also like with the kind of support and we've been also running different CLI, but we can speak a little bit like later. Okay, let's run a little bit like on more like what's the agenda about? What are we talking about today? Is it quite exciting? We have a packed agenda for anyone that's tuning in. We're running this as monthly cadence, so we're trying to bring you the amount of quality of kind of like speaker and content and ecosystem and product updates that are happening in every month in kind of like the ecosystem and around our MetaMask ecosystem too. And this month we're basically doing a couple of sessions that I think they're super interesting. We have Van Dan speaking around our multi-chain API for Solana and beyond. I think like everybody saw it by now, but we went native on Solana. Was announced also like last week. We were also as Solana Accelerate. We ran also Builder Night with a lot of Solana ecosystem, and I think like we are also ramping up all our kind of like DevX suite around kind of like Solana 0 to 100 kind of like building, and I think it's very exciting. Then we will actually proceed on it's kind of I would say a fireside chat around beans. AVS with a guest from Eigelayer is not going too far, but I think people know who is Matt at this point, and we will have also the honor to have both Matt and Clemens here in the stream to actually speak a little bit about Eigen, alt layer, and kind of like Bean's capability. And then, as we mentioned, Alejandro, right, like SDK winner. Actually, it's very interesting because Mona Bindra kind of like build this. I like the title, Linear Legacy Team. And the integration were actually quite smooth, and we really like it. And then we will close up with actually like a Snap's out highlight that I think for anybody that didn't know Snap, I think it's a permissionless kind of like a permissionless innovation ecosystem that you can build and enhance the feature of the extension today. Think about like add-ons, and we are also like honor to have ZNS kind of like name service presenting, demoing us the Snap. And yeah, while we do that, we can ask question always like we have a chat. You can also ask question there if we think like those are relevant. Question we will bring up in public. We can grill our guests, and I think that's the most important part around giving feedbacks and asking questions. Everybody is welcome to do so. Yeah, which session are you excited about, Alejandro, here today?
Okay, like always, we have like really good people around, really good builders, really good, amazing people, amazing projects. But actually, I am super excited for the API in Solana and beyond, like multi-chain API, and of course the Dev Cook-Off winner. We have waited a long time. We have been waiting a long, so long time to talk to them. So yeah, it will be fun to see them around, showcase their project, and yeah, will be great.
Nice, 100%. Excited, also excited about the session, especially also on the fireside chat with Clemens and Matt. I think there is a
Yes.
lot of on the table that is happening around in and everything around both Eigen and Altair. I'm here right now in during ETH Prague, and literally this morning we did an Eigen layer kind of breakfast, and where
Mhm.
like where people like Nader actually speaking about this kind of stuff was very interesting. So I'm looking forward to this session. Okay, let's do it. Quick context about this call. I think we gave some context on what's happening, but there is a reason why we'll do this call. First, we are trying to be as much as on the ground, not just meaning on the ground physically, also like being on the ground, like virtually to every kind of like builders, developer, founder, investor in the ecosystem. And we're gonna provide not just update what's happening around MetaMask product and MetaMask ecosystem, but also like really having floor for partners, showing what they're building, how is the collaboration going, and also like showing how what builder are kind of like building, could be during hackathon, could be lower in the funnel, building really companies with all the MetaMask kind of like suite product. And I think we're doing that every month. I think right now it's all happening by the end of the month. So you will see a mix of kind of like, fireside chat, talks. We're also like sometimes bringing technical demos from the hackathon winners. What else, Alejandro? Is there something that I'm missing in terms?
I think you have it all. And yeah, super excited about it.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, at the end, we want to really like give exposure to both winning team,
Yeah.
but also like to all the partners that are coming this call. And we're always excited. If you're building something, reach out. Our doors are always open, right? If you're like a partner and you want to collaborate more, we're super happy to also like give the floor for anybody here really to present. And I think those calls are really for the community, to the community, and we really emphasize this every time. Okay, so without further ado, I would say let's get it started. So right now, I would love to invite on the floor Van Dan. Van Dan, it's a pleasure to have you here. I think it was a long time that we were not speaking about multi-chain API, and it's great to actually having this update. And I think a
Yeah,
lot of like devs and builder in the ecosystem will love it. So without further ado, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
sure. Thanks for having me this month. I'm Funded, product lead for the MetaMask Wallet API, which is how dApps communicate with our MetaMask wallet clients. And I'll be talking to you all a little bit about our multi-chain API for Solana and beyond.
Nice. That's super exciting. I'm not sure like if you wanna like showing like any demo, you want me to share the screen, or you wanna kind of like take over. Anything is fine for us.
I'll let me share screen here. Let me do that.
Nice.
All right.
Perfect.
Is it coming through?
Let me check. Give me 2 sec. Here. Perfect.
Great.
Excited for this.
Yeah, so let's dive in. So as Francesca mentioned before, the big news this week is that Solana is coming to MetaMask, starting with the MetaMask extension, and users, millions of users can already start to import their SRPs, create Solana accounts, bridge between Ethereum and Solana, and send and receive and trade on Solana as well. And of course, what's important to me too is being able to sign, connect, and transact with Solana dApps. So essentially, it's now easier for these millions of people to start exploring the Solana ecosystem. And then for developers, the integration is actually enabled by something called the Solana Wallet Standard, which is pretty well adopted in the ecosystem. Most kind of dApps have integrations that use some patterns that are in the wallet standard. And so there's actually no changes required for developers. MetaMask will automatically show up as a wallet option as long as you implement this wallet standard, and it'll come through and allow users to explore your dApp. You'll also see that MetaMask will start to be handled as a multi-chain wallet. So now it'll, Ethereum, Solana, and eventually more, by some of the kind of third-party like SDKs that are used to connect with multiple wallets. So there's Dynamic, Privy, and Rion. We've been collaborating closely with them to make sure that the experience works if you're using those SDKs as well. And this is all actually powered by MetaMask's multi-chain API. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So the multi-chain API kind of it sort of sits in the middle here. What it does is it's really all about moving from kind of an ecosystem specific interface to one that's more agnostic and adapts to different ecosystems. So moving beyond what we previously had as an interface, which was through the Ethereum Provider API, to a set of generic standards that go beyond Ethereum, accommodate Solana, and again, other chains as well. And what we've done initially is we've actually created like a little adapter that sort of translates this generalized multi-chain API down to what the Solana wallet standard expects. So it's sort of like a narrowing of this multi-chain API, but there's a lot of power that's in this multi-chain API. It integrates with MetaMask snaps, and in the coming months, we will be integrating with the MetaMask SDK. So if you're using the MetaMask SDK, you'll be able to get the full power of this multi-chain API, integrate with Ethereum, Solana, and many other L1s as they get integrated into MetaMask. So that's exciting. Let's talk a little bit more about what it specifically enables. I think the first thing that's most important in terms of the benefits here is that if you're a developer who's been building across different ecosystems, Solana, Ethereum, then there's various pain points that you've probably encountered. And I think what we wanted to do with this multi-chain API is really sort of take off the constraints. I think the way that APIs work today with wallets, there's a lot of kind of patterns that are like kind of ingrained into the wallet and don't leave a lot of flexibility for the developer. So with this, the kind of constraints come off, and we think you can really optimize for a multi-chain experience for your users. There's also a lot of developer experience improvements in the multi-chain API. I think especially developers in the Ethereum ecosystem will find that there's some big wins there. It helps prevent like dead-end features and helps kind of encourage more innovation. That's been a little bit of a challenge with wallet interfaces. And then it's also based around standards, because we really want this to be adopted broadly in the industry by like library developers, as well as tooling that goes on top, and then of course even other wallets. And it's agnostic to ecosystem specific patterns as well. So like the RPCs should look the same. And then finally, it's extensible to adding additional L1s. That's one of our goals, is to make MetaMask more of like a just general Web3 wallet. It lets you explore regardless of where your interests take you. So let's dive into kind of the multi-chain user experience here. So one of the first things we looked at is currently, if you're connecting to a site that has support for different ecosystems, again, I'll just use Ethereum and Solana as an example. A lot of times you have to actually connect to your wallet one time for one ecosystem and then connect again for the other one. So what we have with the multi-chain API and with our interface in MetaMask is a more unified experience where the developer can request both Ethereum and Solana accounts and networks, and the user just goes through that one time and can proceed. And then once that connection has been established with the right networks, then the developer can they can trigger different interactions directly on the network that they're related to. So we've done a lot of work actually in the whole wallet experience as well to support this kind of approach and kind of get users used to this notion that they could get a request for like different networks as they go through an experience. But that sort of reduces the friction of having to switch between different contexts for users. And then let's talk a little bit about the developer experience. So as I mentioned, I think one of the strongest benefits here is that you can make calls directly to the intended chain. And I think, again, this, if we look at the Ethereum space, there's really no contention for this like selected chain or constant checking of chain ID, or dealing with lots of error scenarios that can come up if the chain ID doesn't match what you're expecting. So you can trigger these requests on different chains directly. And if you look at the format here, it's the way that we do this is there's like a method within a method. So the method being called here is ETH send transaction in this example. That's sort of a standard Ethereum method and it follows a format that you would expect. And then there's this wrapping method called wallet invoke method that has basically like a routing parameter here that specifies the chain that this request is supposed to be directed to. And what that allows us to do is, again, go straight to the chain without a lot of error handling details. And then it also leaves the format of these methods as is. So if we have a method in here for like Solana or Bitcoin, it's going to look like what developers are used to in those ecosystems. We don't have to modify or pollute the parameters or the format of methods. So should be very familiar. The other problem that we've sort of seen in the industry is that when you're integrating with wallets that have multi-chain support and potentially more than one wallet, each wallet has its own different set of capabilities. And I think this has actually been something that's created some stagnation in terms of innovation, because even if a wallet adds a new feature, it's like really hard to get everyone to move forward to that feature unless all wallets support it. So in this example, a user is going to CoinMarketCap, and they have this feature to like add the token to MetaMask. And I think what's intended there is to just add that to the wallet. And in this case, if I don't have MetaMask installed and I'm using a Uniswap wallet, then it just comes back with this error that the wallet watch asset method's not supported, which we think isn't the best experience. We want to give developers the ability to kind of tailor the experience, avoid these dead ends where the user's just kind of like, oh, okay, now what do I do? And essentially with the kind of connection that we have with the multi-chain API, it allows you to identify what the kind of functions that are available in the wallet. And so you can essentially toggle features on and off based on what's best for your experience. So we think that's going to be really helpful. And yeah, so our approach was that we want this to be something that's broadly adopted. We're part of a group called the Chain Agnostic Standards Alliance, CASA. And we've been collaborating with partners like Wallet Connect there to kind of create these standards out in the open and get feedback from others as well. So these patterns that we're using for this multi-chain API, they're not actually tied to MetaMask's implementation. They're general patterns that we hope that the industry will kind of build upon and will find a lot of benefits in. So there's a list of some standards that we've published there around how this interface works, and you can learn more about that on the CASA sites. The next thing that we recommend is definitely trying this out in MetaMask Flask. If you go grab the latest version, we actually have something called our MetaMask multi-chain test app that you can use to kind of play around and trigger different possibilities and see how MetaMask responds with these like new multi-chain powers. Again, both for Ethereum and now with Solana as well. If you grab Flask, you'll also find that we have the Solana DevNet support there, so you can give that a go as well. And in terms of learning more, we just launched our docs around all of this stuff. It's fresh off the press. So there's a Solana integration guide that we've got that test app that I mentioned. There's docs that cover this multi-chain API and the key patterns, and it sort of links off also to the standards that are related to those. And then we have a MetaMask improvement proposal repo where we've been documenting exactly like how we've implemented the standards, so that if you really wanted to get into the gory details, you can learn more there.
Nice. Vadan, question. Last week was very announce focused. We also like were in this developer days, like the Scalar Die, like experience around onboarding developers, especially on the Rust side. Do you see a big difference in kind of like how the developer experience works in terms of like onboarding? Because I'm assuming Solana devs are mostly around kind of Rust, but I think with this also like solution, they're able to get in the EVM world, right?
Yeah, I think there's both like just access to being able to try things out across different ecosystems. There's definitely usually what happens is we talk to developers, there's usually two types. There's like the kind of back end, like on chain, the person who's sort of like writing smart contracts and all that. And then there's like the front end developer that's like dealing with these like wallet integrations and all of that. And so oftentimes those front end developers, like this is what they're familiar with. And it's usually just like web technologies, right? Like building Web3 sites. And it should be all familiar. And again, quite agnostic. And this is where we're doing some work with some other like popular library builders too, so that we can make sure that it's easy for them to just pick up a commonly used library and get all of this for free.
Yeah, that's actually quite amazing that right now we have MetaMask on Solana, so we can start looking at the projects that are going to be built, because there's going like a lot of projects on the Solana ecosystem. So MetaMask, it's going to be also part of that boom of new projects going on. So that's actually quite amazing and nice. It's basically, developers can now start building using the wallet API, the multi-chain API on Solana. So that's quite amazing. So congrats on that.
Thank you. Absolutely. Go start playing around with it and building.
Yeah,
I think
we're here to help if you have questions. Thank you.
Nice.
Yes, thank you so much, Mandana. Awesome, really appreciate it. I think also on the dev side, we're also thinking about a lot of like tutorial, trying to what can we do in the next couple of months, also to kind of like lean and bridge this building side. And agree with you on the dApp side, it's all kind of like JavaScript and TypeScript. So there is a big difference in terms of experience. Awesome, sounds good. Thank you so much, Vandan. I will untoggle you right now, and really looking forward. We'll send also those links in the chat. So what else? I think now we are kind of like ready to go in our second kind of like main session here. So we'll all have, we're excited about this part, right? So I would like to let me toggle in both Clemens and Matt. So it's a big pleasure to have you guys here. By the way, Clemens, I think I'm repeating myself, but your background probably is one of the best background that we ever see on any live stream.
That's funny. It's called my wall of shame. These are all beer labels. So you have like Dr. Evil over here. You can peel it off the can. That's a very expensive wall.
Oof, nice. So many hangouts there.
Very cool, very cool, very cool. Okay, sounds good. Let's do it. Let's do a quick round of intro. I think like Matt, a lot of people know you already, but feel free to intro yourself and then following up Clemens.
Yeah, thanks again for having me, folks. It's been a long time since I've been on a MetaMask community call, but nice to meet everyone that doesn't know me. I am Matt Nelson. I work with Eigen Labs. I'm the product owner of the on-chain protocol itself. So I work primarily across, EigenLayer developer, ecosystem types. And I've been working closely with Clemens and some other folks at Consensus on the Infura project. But I won't steal the thunder. I'll pass it over to you, Clemens.
Hey everyone, I'm Clemens. I'm a solutions architect. I've been with Consensus for almost 7 years now, and in the blockchain space for about a decade. I am working on a lot of random things, some token incentives within the DIN token, and AI automation all around. For those who don't know, DIN is Decentralized Infrastructure Network. It's actively decentralizing Infura and MetaMask at the moment. We support the Solana backend right now. And we've launched dozens of networks with a focus on RPC at first, but we're growing into a marketplace of APIs.
Nice, nice. I mean, super exciting also to have this fire chat. I think these formats are also giving more insights to the builder out there. The goal here is really like we want to kind of like introduce all the kind of like eigenlayer tooling, understanding where the opportunities of building AVSs, and also like trying to understand, okay, what are the example that you can do within the Dean's kind of like journey to MetaMask developer. I think that's super exciting. Okay, so let's actually dive in. Matt, so what is an AVS? Let's learn a little bit more about kind of AVSs. How do they actually work, and what kind of like you want to give some kind of like example on what are the AVSs out there in the market today?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that. So, for those that don't really know kind of the basics of what restaking is, it's kind of just like that, right? We take staked assets across Ethereum layer 1, and we reapply those securities to different types of applications, which is really great because it lets you do things that you might not be able to do otherwise, like secure off-chain services with on-chain security, or do kind of multi-chain applications, new types of applications, different virtual machines, different operating environments. And it allows, again, to take the staked assets that are living within eigenlayer on Ethereum and apply different types of slashing conditions, penalties, kind of new security backings to certain types of applications. So I work really closely with developers all across the ecosystem. Any chain, this is Ethereum, this is other things, this is Web2 developers, new types of services, some really exciting things. So if you've heard the buzzwords around things like ZK, TLS, and these other systems, a lot of these are they're using technologies like Eigenlayer to secure new types of kind of off-chain services and bring those things on-chain in a really real way. So that's very exciting. But again, at a high level, an AVS is an autonomous verifiable service. We call it verifiable because, again, we allow developers to write conditions and slashing conditions for applications that apply on-chain security to off-chain systems. So we've been working closely with partners all across the ecosystem. DIN is a great example, like Clemens mentioned, around decentralized RPC. It allows them to make guarantees about what the kind of operators within their application, the people that are running their applications are doing with the right amount of security on-chain. And there's a lot of other types of applications, like I mentioned, ZK TLS is one, where different types of prover networks can provide certain assurances about data without having to reveal the underlying data. So ZK TLS is a really exciting one. There's a lot of other use cases that are happening around oracles, for example, being able to ensure that when an oracle price feed comes on chain, that there's the right amount of there's the right remittance process when those assets are being bridged on chain, those values rather, to make sure that we're keeping people honest within the system. And then when there is dishonesty or when there are kind of improper executions within these applications, that developers have the ability to slash those staked security assets. That are, again, the whole point is to keep those services verifiable. And when there's proven fraud or proven kind of misuse or just kind of glitches in the system, there's different types of penalties that we have, but broad strokes. Kind of slashing is at one end of the spectrum as our kind of the nuclear option. And then we have a lot of other things like rewards, for example, to be able to incentivize the right kinds of behavior and bring all these great off-chain services on chain. So really excited because, we had slashing go live earlier this year. We're just starting to see the kind of first parts of the application ecosystem start to kickstart. We're seeing ecosystem participants start to pay out rewards. We had Redstone that has launched their token on top of Eigenlayer, distributing rewards to operators in the ecosystem, which is really fun because it's a permissionless system where new operators can come in, just like nodes on Ethereum. They can pick up these verifiable services. They can start running them on top of Eigenlayer. They can receive rewards for what they run if they run things honestly. And then the stakers and all these other participants in the system get to be paid out rewards and all these other things as well, all to keep these services kind of honest and verifiable. And we're really excited to have the first slew of applications start out. And that's especially why we're excited to partner with Clemens and DIN as well, because, Infura is such a key piece and decentralization of RPC is such a key piece of making sure that everything will work and making sure that everything will continue to grow as Web3 grows and won't be kind of centralized, and we'll have the right amount of service and all the right amount of health. So we're really excited about that too.
Nice. Do you want to expand a little bit on the DIN AVS side, Clemens? I think you're super expert on that.
Yeah, so there is like a decentralized RPC type of service where you can get rid of all of the centralized RPC services out there, which is what we're not trying to do. We're trying to actually support the smaller guys that have less reputation, that don't have. We want to support the node providers, right? The people that are running these, as well as even the watchers that are looking at the protocols. And so the reason why we chose the AVS portion is to enforce the service level agreements that we have across those providers for the nodes that are being built. And so instead of launching a separate blockchain network like Lava or Pocket, we're building it because we want to build on top of the stake security and the capital that's within Ethereum, rather than fragmenting and building our own network separately. So DIN is right now in the middle of testing our AVS in version 0.3, and we're doing kind of end-to-end onboarding. And it's been really fun working with the EigenLayer as well as the alt layer team to build the AVS to do the proper testing end to end.
Nice, exciting. And Andrew, feel free always to jump in. I'm just going further with some questions. Meta, kind of you touched a little bit on the slashing side. You guys shipped this one. You want to talk a little bit about kind of like the difference on the feature function? And I think sometimes people are confusing the kind of like the like some of the function, between, I think staking is quite clear, but like, on the slashing side, some people are kind of like confusing. Like, give us through an overview on this kind of like feature side and the relevance in those Web3 kind of like specific ecosystems.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I mentioned, the kind of pioneering use case of EigenLayer was restaking. And the concept of restaking is taking the underlying assets that are being used to secure different networks and apply those to different types of security conditions. So, with the slashing feature, it's not to say that people are going to go out and start, stealing or taking or slashing people's funds right off the bat. It's really a means for application developers to make commitments that, hey, since this is a decentralized ecosystem, other people are running the code that I produce. In the case of DIN, as they just mentioned, node operators are the people that are running the code, but the AVSs are the people building the code. So the people building the code need a means to make sure that the operators are acting honestly. So this is what we call the slashing condition, right? So there can be several, there can be one. Ethereum's slashing condition is very simple. When there is kind of a double signing, for example, if someone says, hey, these two versions of the truth, I'm going to sign on both of those, or try to kind of manipulate the consensus algorithm, then they can get slashed. So Ethereum has a very clear-cut slashing condition. We're kind of building this restaking model on top of that to add additional slashing conditions for various types of assets, so that people can go and build new types of applications with new types of consensus, or new types of operators, or kind of node operators, or new types of protocols, and they can all leverage the same security underneath. And that's kind of the real innovation there. And again, it's a mix of on-chain contracts with these off-chain pieces of software, or on-chain pieces of software. But we're giving developers the tools to specify additional types of commitments they'd like to make. And as I'm going to use the Ethereum example, the Ethereum commitment is, hey, a block producer signs and produces one block, and that block is valid, right? Like, it's a very simple consensus algorithm, and they use their stake to sign off on that piece of truth. And then they share that piece of truth with the world. So in EigenLayer, it's the very same thing, but we're allowing developers to expand the types of conditions under which kind of security and slashed security can work. And I'm not going to use the word delegated proof of stake, but that's basically what this is. So, Ethereum, I have a block. It's true. I've executed it myself. I'm going to share it with everyone in the world. EigenLayer is taking that same stake security underneath, but it could be something very different. It could be, this is a price feed on this day from a Redstone Oracle, and it's valid for 24 hours. And if I lie to you and you can prove it, then we have a means to slash the underlying security and make sure that we can hold those parties accountable in that system. So again, it's all happening kind of under the hood. It's built on top of the EigenLayer smart contracts. We give kind of a bunch of different types of tooling and SDKs to make this a little simpler, some templates, examples, etc. But it's really happening quite simply on top of kind of these smart contracts on Ethereum that can connect to off-chain software and allow developers to make new types of commitments on top of the security that lives on layer one.
Yeah, and to ground that with RPC calls, so the SLAs that each node provider in their operator set agrees to, right? The slashing conditions that we put is that if your sending any bad data or like wrong chain data, then there would be a slashing. But if it's just, poor performance by having any type of diminishing of performance percentage, then you probably would just get rerouted traffic. So maybe there's jailing involved where you have to pay a fee to get out of jail, but the punishment is basically not earning for those nodes that you have stake value to. But we've based all of these rewards and punishments off of the actual performance that we're doing within Infura and the MetaMask developer platform to see over the past year of being live how this slashing would occur. And so it's all based on the data that we're putting together.
Nice. This is actually quite cool. I was wondering if you have any kind of examples of an implementation or different implementations of AVS. So that would be great to share with the community.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is I see EigenLayer as a decentralized app store where the cloud running the code is the operators that are the ones that are staking and are doing the compute for the reward. And because they're decentralized, because they have their own incentive mechanism, I feel like there is a little bit more testing that's needed. It's not just like, let's build a game and let's just publish it onto an app store. Once we're going to mainnet, because this is a blockchain application, you have to make sure to test with all the tools available. So within DIN, we've been working with the TXTX team to write the runbooks, the Build-A-Bear team to there was some issues with Husky at some point, but it's to kind of go through this testing thoroughly so that we can do the proper processes and security checks before we go live. And I think that that's kind of like the standard process, is to be extra diligent and to over test. Anything you want to add to that, Matt?
No, you actually really did a great job explaining that. Like I mentioned, it's kind of this like Clemens mentioned, rather, it's this kind of decentralized marketplace for commitments and for application builders. And the reason we call them autonomous services is because if you have the right incentives and you write the right code with the right testing, operators will come and pick that code up, they'll run it, and they'll serve that, kind of in this case, they'll serve RPC to the users. But we're kind of just getting started. We're really excited to kick off this part of our evolution. We've kind of finished some of our initial implementations. We're really excited to see what developers pick things up and what they build. And there's a lot of interesting things coming down the pike that I can't speak too much about yet. But maybe if we have another developer call at some point, we can talk those things.
Oh yeah, we definitely need to have like a part two. And I see we're almost on time here. I just want to close up with one question. Like you mentioned on the stake ETH side, but what about all the operators and people with a lot of stake ETH, right? What are kind of the call to action to them? And this could be both to Matt or Clement's side.
Yeah, I mean, on our side, DIN is planning to launch the AVS into mainnet within this year, and there's going to be an airdrop incentive program that we're putting together for the DIN token itself. So watch out for the mechanism design paper with all of the actions of where the token will take into place. But most of it is to actually see the AVS running, to get all of that data appropriately, and then do a community-based airdrop off of real activity. And so we'd love to chat with operators. Please reach out to us at din@consensus.net, and we can talk to you about this great work that we're doing. Yeah.
Nice, Matt. Any closing word here?
No, that was awesome. If you have questions, of course, reach out to us at Eigen Labs if you're looking to build a kind of verifiable application. If you're an operator and you want to run things like Clement said, there's tons of resources out there to get started. But in general, yeah, we're just really excited to get more and more folks onboarded. And I think there'll be a lot more developer interest going forward. So thanks for having me.
Nice. It was a pleasure. And I definitely think we need a part two. And thanks so much for putting this together. I think Clemens is super useful, like to actually hear not just on the DIN side update, but also like how people can be involved much more with the ecosystem. So let's definitely organize a part two here. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
So I think we are almost up time here. We have two more sessions going. We will, let's say, invite Manubendra on the SDK Dev Cook-Off side. Let's see if it's working. Manovendra, can you hear us?
Yeah, Francisco.
Nice, nice. So welcome,
Nice.
welcome to the stream. Super excited. Congrats again on the
I'm.
SDK side.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
pleasure, pleasure. You want to quickly
Uh,
introduce yourself
okay.
and maybe you want to
Yes,
share
yes,
your
yes, sure.
screen?
Yes, sure. First of all, let me share my screen. And so, is it visible?
Yes, we can see it now.
So, first of all, hi everyone. I am very much grateful to have to be invited over the community call, uh, and I'm very glad that I won the MetaMask SDK Dev Cook-Off hackathon. And before starting about the hackathon, I would like to introduce my give a shout out to my team, PepsiCola.Kulfi. My team name is PepsiCola.Kulfi. They must be watching the stream over the YouTube, Twitter or somewhere. So like yeah, that's it. So uh, I'll introduce my project. So what happens? We all know that once we lose our private keys or seed phases, we tend to lose our assets and they are not recoverable, right? So no call at the bank, no call at the no cases, no files, and we end up losing our assets at the end of the day. So we have built a solution, and we're keeping in mind that this behavior of cryptocurrencies, we have built a solution out of it. So our goal is to make your digital legacy, be it cryptocurrencies, educational assets, or even NFTs, doesn't make it like non-erasable, even if your private keys or seed phrases are lost. So here is our the front end of our project, and we have a small demo video also. We do is like I'll just play it. I don't
No worries.
I don't
This always happen when
think
we are
it's
live.
being played.
There it is.
So yeah, is it visible? Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So what we do is like what you can do is like you can create a digital will out of it, and you can assign a beneficiary, or you can even like give us a secondary wallet of yourself, and like you can lock some of the amounts in that digital will. And that once the we are tracking the inactivity of the user. In case the user is inactive for 10 years or some custom amount of time, then like the beneficiary can claim the amount. So as you can see over here, the quality is little bit down. Yeah, so this way you can give the beneficiaries address, the initial amount of deposit you want to make, and the description, small description will work. And yeah, and once the transaction is confirmed, like so there are a lot of some. Yeah,
So
so
basically,
once the will. Yes,
basically
yes.
what you can do is to like lock some amount of funds on your wallet, and then you'll track
Yeah,
the amount of time that you have or like that wallet
yes.
without interaction, right? So that when
Yes,
you're
the
going to be
interaction,
able
and you can even deposit some more funds, like it's like some backup funds. Or we also have introducing in this the next versions, we are also introducing the milestone based will. Like suppose your son or your some relative, you want to delegate some assets later on to them, if they come in their graduation, or if they are into some age, if they complete some achievements of themselves, you can like transfer some assets to them. Like in this way you are also locking the assets and preventing it from losing if you lose your private keys, and also like you are delegating the assets later on to your loved ones. And in later versions also, like the currently the assets are just being locked up, and like you are not being able to use, right? So but in the
Mhm.
later versions, what we are planning to do is like you can make uh, payments out of the locked amount locked amount too. So yeah, so it's just not locked, keep them unlocked. So yeah, that's it. And like, and once again, very much thankful to you all. And we are since the beginning of my Web3 journey, we have been using MetaMask only as a wallet to like in our development journey, and we are really excited for the MetaMask card launch. Whenever it launches in India, will be like one of the first users maybe to use it. We're really excited for it. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much, Manavendra. I think this is an amazing project. I saw this and I thought
Hey,
like, okay, this is actually quite cool. There are like millions, hundreds of millions in crypto that we do not know what's going to
yes,
happen
yes,
when we die, or I don't know. So this is a really good solution to start managing your assets and create wills for your family or other person that you would like to. So I think this is amazing, actually. Really good project.
Nice.
thank you so
A lot
much.
of things also on the SDK
Thank you
side,
so much.
Yeah,
Alejandro. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
you touched, I think, a bit on the CLI one that you want to mention if you want. I think there is a lot of builders that might be interested on that too.
Yes, actually, we have a CLI that you can. I don't know. I will share the link in a second. But we have a CLI that you can just
Sure.
run and get an application. Like it's a quick start application for you to you use it and start building
Okay.
from there. That's a really good tool.
Okay.
That you can use to start the scaffold projects. We have already using the CLI, so I mean the SDK. So if you run the CLI, you are not going to need to install the SDK and do the base setup, which is actually quite easy, but you can get rid of that part of
Nice.
setting up the project and all that. But yeah, we have also templates. We have one with dynamic. We'll be including one with Web3 out like quite soon, probably this week or next week. So you can just start using wallet abstraction and all that in this
Yeah, sure.
application. So yeah.
Okay, my team is also planning to build for the that MetaMask card
Oh,
hackathon.
nice.
That's
Nice,
it's
nice,
currently
nice,
going
nice.
on Hackers. Yeah.
Yes, actually, on that we should definitely like have
If
this
we
up.
win, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If we win again, will be. I'll get the opportunity to meet you all
yeah.
again.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be actually super cool.
Thank you.
I think like we have this here that I actually want to share here before we're closing up. Like before we're actually going to the next to the last session here, but we launched this this month is all about the MetaMask card Dev Cook-Off Hackathon. We're doing different kind of like tracks. We will share more in the next. We're doing a dedicated live stream on some of defining all the tracks and all the and bringing also the co-hosts and partners together, both Circle and Li-Fi. So there is a lot of things. So Manuvendra definitely like is a good opportunity also to check this out. And yeah, it's great to have
Sure, sure, sure.
hackers and builders in the community that are really pushing the boundary like you guys. So well done to all the team pushing this.
Team Pepsi Cola dot Fish.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Sounds good. Awesome. Okay, let's do it. Let's close. Let's continue a little bit like our last part. So our last part is all about snaps. I will be honored to bring on Henry here from the NS. Welcome, welcome so much. You want to quickly introduce yourself? It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, nice to meet you, and thank you for this community call. It's really cool. So I have this bag also, MetaMask.
Whoa, nice.
A nice t-shirt. Yes, thank you. It's from Belgium, I think. Yeah. So my name is Henry. I'm CEO of the NS Connect, and we build in name service. We have like 25 more chains and more than 10 test nets now. We built in our name service for last 3 years, and 1 month ago we integrate MetaMask Snaps, and it's really cool product. And today I'm gonna explain you how it works and show you everything. So let me share my screen.
Nice. Yeah, shout out also that you're wearing this t-shirt. I think it was one of the best swag ever.
Yeah. Okay.
So to give a context, so Henry is basically showing a MetaMask snap and how was the integration with DNS name service. Here, I think we're seeing your screen now.
So
There you are.
all good?
Yes.
Can you hear me? All good?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so what we are building? We're building a Web3 product. Like it's like a Web3 page where you can add your socials, you can add your avatar, cover, etc. At the same time, on this month, we will launch mobile application. It's only in our market name service protocols. Only two DID service have that. Also, of course, we have MetaMask snaps, and we have SDK and API service inside. So we are official name service provider on Inc, Unichain, Berachain, Hemi, Taiko Scroll, and many more name service blockchains. For the traction, we already mint more than 245 domains on the mainnet, and we have 200K minters. It's Scroll, Inc, Blast, and many more. We also integrate name service inside the Explorer. We live on Inc, Blast, and Polygon. So you see the name, you can copy that and find inside the Explorer this name. And after, and the most important, of course, for us is snaps, because with these names you can send crypto, NFT, and etc. So let's get started from testing. First of all, we need to mint any domain. I think it's already minted by somebody. Okay. Yeah, so let's do like 2. Okay, then we need to add it to cart and complete purchase. So it will bring NFT on your wallet, and same time we will manage the profile now with you together. Okay, it's minted. Let me reload, and we have 2 domains. So let's see how it looks like. So this is your page. At the same time, it drop NFT on your wallet, I think. Yes. Yeah, you can see it's in same time it's NFT on your wallet. And now let's manage profile. What we can do, let's change avatar, then let's change cover, then let's, 1 second, let's add description here. Then we can add name, location. So it's like your social page. And let's add website. Okay, cool, save. Then you can add your socials. You can add application, medium, mirror, etc. Then, of course, you can renew, transfer, and sell and delete, and set up as primary. Let me try to set up as primary. Yeah, everything on chain and database. Yeah, well, so here is your domain. Let's copy the name. So we copy name metamask2.defi. Next step, we need to install MetaMask snaps. Okay. Okay. Done. Let's see what we have. Let's check snaps. Yeah, it's already installed. So let's see what we can do. Launch MetaMask. Then if we want to send, let's copy the name. And here is voila. This is my main same wallet. So I can try to send from my wallet to my wallet using MetaMask snaps. Let's check if we have same like only MetaMask. Somebody minted before us, some user. Yeah, he not change anything, but let's try to send a bit to this user. Yeah, it's done. Okay, copy the name, metamask.defi. Amazing. And let's send. And let's open Explorer and see what we have. So yeah, crypto already sent to this wallet, but we use only short name through MetaMask snaps. So yeah, you can use it on our all networks. Let me open the here. So you can use on the all mainnets, and same you can use on the all testnets. What next? 1 second. Hope one day we will be officially named service provider on Linea. Yeah, it will be great. What next in our roadmap? We want to build messaging between accounts. Then we want to add news, so you can tweet and post anything inside. And we will want to build one big NFT marketplace for all the chains. And one more question to you. Any idea about snaps on Solana?
So there is some kind of like a conversation happening. So basically, like on the Snap side, obviously the non-EVM snaps are super interesting, but there are specific snaps also in other categories that they are basically being brainstormed, but also like other ecosystem players, right? But if you have also like any idea, I think also like we were planning to even think about some kind of like a MetaMask Dev Cook-Off Solana edition. And I think that would be a great track to think about.
Yeah.
So you pushed like a kind of this roadmap. I think it's super interesting. It's also like so developing the Snap folder, distributing it. I think so. What's coming next on the ZNS side? Like, I assume you guys will be at ECC and more.
So yeah, as I mentioned on our side, the priority, of course, we also want to deploy on Solana. That's why I'm asking you. So for next 3 months, we will deploy on Solana, build an NFT marketplace where we will add all our networks that we support for the mainnet and for the testnet. We will also integrate some AI tools, so you can generate any name using just one click. It's very fast using the category. And you also can add any keywords here. And we also can generate few words. Now we try to scale, here is your MetaMask to DeFi API. We're using API to change your wallet name to your domain name. So yeah, that's all what we are building, what we are planning. Let me know if you have any additional question.
Nice. I think that was
Really good.
super useful. Go for it, Alejandro.
No, really, really good, really interesting. The way you're building this could be great to see this on Linea, so and Solana for sure. So yeah, quite cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
thank you.
No, excited. And I think like if you have also like some of the links, we can share it with the chat and also kind of like post the community call.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Henry. We appreciate it, and looking forward to also like see the kind of like the snaps, kind of like discovery phase. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Alejandro, I think like was a very packed session. I think we're almost on time. Any session that you kind of like the most or you enjoyed the most?
I actually love to see the Linea Legacy project and learn more about it from the developer itself or the builder. So was actually really good. Also the multi-chain API things and AVAs. I mean everyone was amazing for sure. So really cool session, really amazing builders and amazing people like always. So yeah, really cool.
100%. And there were some questions that we kind of like answered also in the chat. So
Yep.
we're actually quite straightforward. And I think for anybody that also have extra question, we will try to also like answering offline. So feel free to kind of like DM us and or even comment some posts that are coming from the MetaMask handles, where we're definitely like more active on that side, also to your feedbacks and also your comments. I think like we mentioned a little bit everything, right? I think one thing that we wanted to also say was the announcement around the MetaMask Dev Cook-Off we mentioned. So anybody here interested, we're planning also like, and it's actually started like I think that we went this week live actually, and we have
Yep.
the full track. So for anybody that is not aware, we are running this monthly MetaMask Dev Cook-Off, and this month and a half until ECC will all about the MetaMask card. And we are doing this in collaboration with both Circle and Li-Fi. So both on the SDK side, on the CCPv2 side, and obviously like use cases that are ranging from social credential to kind of like DeFi to kind of like social credit scoring. So there is a lot of like interesting both analytics side, but also like anybody's welcome in this hackathon. I think we are really interested to hear also like to see something built, but I think like on the MetaMask card specific side, having also like ideated from like designer, from general founder, I think it's super important. Okay, sounds good. I mean, thank you so much, everyone. I think it was quite packed and I think useful for everyone. Thank you so much again to anybody that was involved in coordinating this. There is a lot of like work that is happening behind the scene. And if you have any kind of like topics and you want to kind of like come to present, always our door is open. We're more than happy to welcome anyone and give the floor for you, builder, or for anyone that want to kind of like highlight what they are building and driving the ecosystem further. We're super exciting. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Leandro, also like for
Thanks to you,
your hosting
Francesco.
this.